Welcome everyone, Hannibal is at the game once again, and here we are with another Total War Rome 2 battle. So let's give you a brief description of the battle. This is a 3v3 battle. On the attacker's side, you can see already the artillery is going off. Let's start with the attackers. Obviously, you have your the Roman war machine. Look at the legionaries. Armored legionaries looking really fresh with triarii, loads and loads of armored legionaries for Rome, and they have in reserves Praetorian Guard. Look at them, the sheer number of Praetorian Guards they have. The Roman war machine is unstoppable in these scenarios. They have a hidden unit of war elephants. I mean, obviously it's not hidden anymore. I mean, it was not even hidden during the point of the battle, but still. They have auxiliary Syrian archers, another set of armored legionaries. Then we have Kush. Kush is the second strongest faction, and it is the only faction that can go against Rome. And if those two join hands, armored Shotel warriors, you are really gonna get spanked. You're gonna be handed a spanking of a lifetime. Look at that. Kushite heavy armored Shotel warriors are on their way, along with armored legionaries. And then, if you have any thoughts, any prayers that you might win this battle, forget winning. Any thoughts and any prayers that you might survive this battle, those are settled. If I look at this, Galatian Royal Guard. So you got the fierce barbarian units that Egypt fields. Egypt is very versatile that way. Look at them, the sheer number of Galatian Royal Guards. They have artillery as well. They are bringing Nubian bowmen and Royal Thorax swordsmen. Any hope of mere surviving, of coming out alive, are eaten up by these Royal Thorax swordsmen. Now the ballistas are firing. The defensive ballista are trying to fire at the Egyptian infantry, but not gonna get that many kills here. The Celtic ballista has 0 kills. Okay, my bad. Defensive factions are Averni, Athens. I love Athens playing as Athens. I am more of a Athens over Sparta kind of person. Chosen spears, thorax swordsmen, and lots of chosen spears by Averni. And we have Lusitani. Interesting factions. Iberian, Barbarian and Greek. The Athens shall provide a little more of defensive units compared to Lusitani and Averni. So trick is to go hammer and anvil, with Athens being the hammer, Athens being the anvil, and the other units being the hammer. Look at that. The war elephants are already on their way, trying to scare off my cat. But this is a small sort of trickery I'm going to use over here. I'm going to let them come to me so that this arrow tower starts shooting at the elephants. You need to have some answer, some semblance of resistance. Look at them. Death from above. Historic battles must have been really tough. Look at that. The arrow towers are now firing. And with an additional support of the arrow towers from the gate, all of them are firing at these elephants right now. I'm trying to get my cav out of the way as soon as possible. The elephants might... that's a shame, but it's alright. The pathfinding was really terrible. I am losing cavalry, but at the same time the elephants are getting peppered down a bit at least. I'm losing lots of cavalry, but if we are able to kill these elephants, it's all worth it. It's all worth it. Okay. If the elephants drop dead, it's all gonna be worth it. Oh, here we have the initial battle. Armored legionaries already on the way. Arrow tower support. They could have easily come over here and got the arrow tower to be on their side, but that's fine. Arrow tower support from on the flanks and right in front of them. The other unit has clashed into the chosen spearmen. The fight is going on. The Kushite swordsmen are engaging the chosen swordsmen of Averni. So yeah, they have taken this parcel of land and they have started flooding in with their troops. Even over here, they are going to challenge us, but Lusitania over here has backed a solid defense, and so has Averni. And we have officially gotten rid of all the elephants thanks to the arrow tower support and my archers over here. That's a cheeky little trick I used in the hopes that he forgets. He takes the bait, gets his elephants trying to get my cav, and he forgets them, which is why we let them take this land, so that they'll be more focused on getting their troops here and starting to fight. And how many people have I lost? 13 and 8. Absolute win. I'm gonna take that as an absolute win. And okay, one brief little description of our strategy that I'll give you is that we have kept a different defense than the normal one. So here you see Lusitania is taking over this area, this field. Averni is going to take on this field. Averni has some units in the back. We have deployables used. I have my Greek onager over here at the back and one unit of pikemen. Aside from that, I am forcing them to take a stand over here. I am going to engage my entire army over here. I'm not putting a defense on the final stand, because if you look at this settlement, they will have to go through this pathway, or even if they choose to go from this pathway, they have to come to this intersection over here if they want to get to the final stand. The final stand is here, so the only way is either they can come through here or they can go through here, but this intersection they have to keep their army over here. And if I have any archers, any men over here on this little hill, this hill is protected, look at that, protected from all sides, and here we have nice walls, so I can just place my archers right here, keep on firing. My archers will be protected on this hill, keep on firing. So I'm trying to make them take this hill, exhaust lots and lots of their soldiers in trying to take this hill. Look at the jabby throat over here, trying to inflict as many casualties on the Romans as possible, but it's going to be a problem because they have big shields and they can absorb a lot of jabby, but then at the same time gotta do something. There's no other way to defeat these Romans. They are flooding my single unit of thorax swordsmen. I don't think my thorax swordsmen can hold them for much longer now. Look at another unit of my thorax swordsmen is breaking already. Averni and the chosen swordsmen are also getting a bit shredded. I did not understand Averni's idea to bring chosen spearmen, but still, that's something. It may work out because spears are holding units. See, what we are playing here somewhat for time and somewhat for exhaustion. So I'm going to force the attackers to take this little hill before they can go to the final stand. So we have as much as time, we waste as much as time possible of the attackers. They have 1 hour to take a settlement. That is the timer set in the game, and if they are unable to do that in 1 hour, then we win. The defenders win automatically. So So my strategy here is to make them try and take this settlement as early as possible. Try and take this part of the settlement and waste their time so that they have very little time to try and take the last stand. The Romans here are victorious. See, that's what I'm forcing them to take here. And aside from that, if they do not take this hill and they bypass it and go straight, this is going to be a constant threat on their back. So they will have to keep units ready, and my archers will also be firing them from above. So which is why we have to take this. Now I've engaged my cavalry once again, my Hippias lancers, but the Praetorian Guard has seen them, which is why I'm going to be falling them back. I thought they went hidden, but it's fine. Over here the battle lines are drawn. Lusitanis have come to aid. The Avernes chosen swordsmen and the veteran shield warriors are having a little hard time. Like I said, Rome is the strongest faction and Kush is the second strongest faction. When you combine them, and Egypt is one of the other strongest remaining factions, so when you combine all of them, it's going to be absolute hell of a task to defeat them. Kushites are fighting against chosen swordsmen losing decisively yet again. The Shotel warriors are doing absolute fine. My Trio spears have 61 kills. That's a good 61 good kills of armored legionaries, but now they will be forced to hold the Romans. We have taken the arrow tower, so now the arrow tower is going to be firing at us instead of aid us. That's going to be a problem. I have Thracian peltas trying to inflict more casualties on the Romans. Look at the hoods. That's some drip. That's some ancient Greek drip. Another problem with this is the Romans already have big shields, and even if the shields are not in question, they are armored legionaries, so they have a much better defense. They don't die as easily, and that's going to be a big problem. Oh, we had a small cavalry engagement here. I missed that. I'm so sorry. That's my bad. If you see here, Rome's committed a lot of troops. Kush still has some troops, and Egypt is just holding back. He lost a lot of bowmen over here. I don't really remember what happened, but he is now engaging his force. The Galatian Royal Guard, they're taking in some javelins from my Trio spears, but the problem is they're not connecting properly. A lot of the Javis are getting stuck over here. I should stop them from wasting all that ammo. I really should stop them. That's fine. Okay, so moving on. Here now, look at that. We're not able to hold for that long. Thurio spears, 83 kills for Thurio spears. That's an absolute win. As much as I could do. And those are some armored legionary skills, so yeah, as good as I can get. Now we have to make them bleed. I'm trying with my thorax swordsman. Another unit of thorax swordsmen throwing their javis at these armored legionaries, trying to make the maximum from this hill defense. Veteran shield warriors fighting against the Kushites in support of the chosen swordsmen. There's lots of missile fire from both sides. Egyptian infantry, Syrian heavy archers, and they're going to be a big problem. My thorax swordsmen are holding for now. My other thorax swordsman is under fire, but it's fine. They have their big shields up. I've asked one of my units of archers to aim fire at the armored legionaries' exposed flank. Come on. Shoot. Shoot. Give me that shot. Give me that volley. Yes. Look at that volley. That's a good volley. That's at the flank of the armored legionaries. That's going to be beneficial. That's going to be really beneficial. So now that's what I was telling you. If you look at the stats, armored legionaries over here, not the trail, the armored legionaries, 149 kills. They have been fighting since such a long time, and it's taking infantry and archer support to take them down. My Hittite lancers are now moving in. I have set up a defense of mercenary veteran hoplites. Hoplites. Another unit of mercenary veteran hoplites. We're going to be aided by Oathsworn. Another unit of mercenary Cretan archers. Not seen a lot of actions. They were involved in killing the elephants. Pikemen and picked hoplites. Another unit of Thunder Spears who have not seen a lot of action, they're fresh, and a Cretan archer unit. So this is practically my entire army. We've not seen much action over here. My Cretan archers have done an amazing job taking these Romans down. My Thracian Peltas have been put on melee mode, and so have my thorax swordsmen trying to fight the enemy. See, now everything over here banks on the possibility that we get the Romans to waste as much as time possible taking this hill again. In this settlement, that's a very big advantage. I'm trying to move my units, and as you can see, he's trying to form a defensive wall. I'm not gonna attack him, but at least what that does is it forces him to a lot of units on this side, on the defense. So he will have, so like you see here, 3 units is allotted for the defense. That's 3 less units than attack, and he's exposed his general. I was not expecting that, but he's done it. So that's some respite from my troops that he has to at least use 3. Okay, now he's shifting all the units. It was a breather, a small breather, but still something. I'm firing at the flanks still. Look at that, the floodgates are opening. They are climbing this hill. That is what I wanted since such a long time, and now the Oathsworns are lining up over here for their kills. They want their revenge for their fallen brothers, the chosen swordsmen. Still, there's Oathsworns valiantly fighting over here against a swarm of Cushites and Romans. They are surrounded, but they don't care. Look at them. They will kill you even if surrounded. Another Oathsworn charge. Over here we can see Lusitani is an absolute chad. They're still holding. Absolute chad by Lusitani. The veteran shield warriors have turned into a killing machine and a holding machine. They've still held their ground. Oh, okay, now it makes sense. This was the Lusitani cav. Oh, my cav charge over here into the Cushite general. I went for a Hail Mary, but I forgot that the Cushites have a lot of cavalry. But then again, most of their troops had gone inside the settlement, so I had to do something. I went for the general, got him by surprise, Look at that Kushite royal guard. He has lost half of his men. The other Kushite royal guard again lost 30 of his, more than 30 men. Not more than 30, more than 20. 24 to be exact, but yeah, some damage I did. I got him by surprise. Distracted him for a brief moment. And my Thorax swordsman getting peppered down, that's fine. That's absolutely fine. Let them use as many arrows as possible because I do have pikemen. One pikeman over here and one pikeman at this final stand, and my hidden weapon, the onager. So yeah, so far things are going as per the plan. The Thurio spears are engaging their fire on the armored legionaries. My archers have opened their fire. I'm trying to get them to exhaust all their ammo before we get charged. Over here, Rome has come up victorious. This just last few Oathsworn they're fighting, even surrounded Oathsworn. Big W. Even surrounded, the Oathsworn get 165 kills. That is amazing. The armored legionaries have them surrounded, and yet there's something wrong with my buttons. They're just... I'm so sorry. There's something wrong with my buttons. My screen was just going like this. I think I've regained the controls back. There's a lot of lag in this game, but then that's Total War Rome 2 for you. The Oathsworn here, 225 kills, and they're still going at it. Look at them. They don't care. They will slaughter you. Look at the swarm of Romans here, slowly marching. That's very, very intimidating. Brain fart, my bad. That's very, very intimidating. Imagine if you're just desperately fighting for survival and you see a bunch of Romans, a column of Romans in that bronze chestplate, gleaming bronze chestplate, just casually marching towards you. That's really, really intimidating. Yeah, you'll be scared for your life. Over here, I have launched my Thurio spears back in action. The Thurio spears have given me a very, very good return. I've kept them in square formation so that they hold out for the maximum duration. They have given me more than 50 plus kills with their javelins, so now it's time to use them as a holding unit. Over here there's a flood of Lusitanis against a flood of Kushites and Egyptians. Over here Lusitani still holding like an absolute wall. Look at them, the men are tired. These are Lusitani nobles, they're tired, they want rest. But they don't care. They're still fighting, still holding. And now we have engaged the picked hoplites and my last set of Thurio spears. 89 kills on javelin. 89 javelin kills. That's big victory. I am forcing the Romans to take a stand right here, engaging them right over here, so that I also get an arrow tower support. But I did not realize the other arrow towers are not supporting me. That's my bad. My hoplites are in their phalanx formation. They have lost their formation a little, which is not helping. My pick hoplites have a good number of kills. That's nice. And they are holding back a flood of troops. I've kept the Romans' attention over here. We have them on the choke point over here. Absolute chads. My Thurio spears are absolute chads. The Lusitanis still fighting here, even with the Roman support. The Egyptians and the Kushites are not able to break because Lusitani has held this point like a madman. You shall not pass. Cant of the Great. And I have my pikemen here taking fire. Oh, from the arrow tower. Come on, I forgot about the arrow tower. My pikemen are taking fire from the arrow tower. That's not ideal scenario. In order to protect them, I have put in some mercenary veteran hoplites in the middle. I don't realize they're not taking normal archer fire, they're taking arrow tower fire. Yeah, they won't be protected. I'm just losing troops to this bullshit. They did not realize the arrow tower was gonna be that big of a killer for my troops. My Therios spears bought 46 kills. Absolute madman. If you play this game more often, you realize getting 146 kills out of Therios spears, especially when you're fighting heavily armored units like Rome and Kush, especially when you're fighting armored legionaries and armored Shotel warriors. This is nothing short of a victory, like absolute victory. Now they've broken through the lines, which has caused some mayhem because the pathfinding is really terrible. Just look at the pathfinding, it's really terrible. That's fine. The pikes are holding somewhat, and somewhat out of the range of that arrow tower, but now my mercenary veteran hoplites are in the range of that arrow tower. My picked hoplites surrounded from two sides. They don't care, they are in a phalanx. They have got 200 kills despite being surrounded from two sides, from both the sides. They do not care. They have been a massive wall holding back swarms of enemies. Look at that. Such a big swarm of enemies have been held back by these picked hoplites. They have crossed 200 kills. You've earned your reputation. You really are picked soldiers. I need to keep my phalanx soldiers on a different and a better angle. I don't know what this diamond shape they have taken. Over here, look at that. This is the final unit of Lusitani nobles. 155 kills. It's completely surrounded by Praetorian. The Praetorians have entered the battle. Now things are gonna get really tough. Oath Sworn, 151 men, 88 kills, absolute beasts. Massive respect, and my pikemen are getting fired at, but they're still holding back. See now, the thing is, I was still okay with these pikemen getting a little bit fired at because I want them to exhaust as many ammo they have before they can reach my second pikeman. And my onager has made its first move. Look at that. Into that group. Into the Praetorian Guard and Armored Legionaries. Oh, good hits. Absolutely good hits. My onager is making their moves. My pikemen are holding out. My veteran hoplites are making their way. Do not. Ah, oh, come on, why would you do that? Don't disturb their formation. Why would you disturb the formation? Okay, we're breaking the triad. Another mercenary veteran hoplites, my general, another picked hoplites, and 3 units of Greek archers. 238 kills, 31 kills, so this is relatively fresh, and 194 kills. You're right here, onagers, 91 kills already. Look at that. Big win, big win. The Praetorians are fighting. The Oathsworn and Lusitanian nobles. The Praetorians have an upper hand at this. Look at that. The ultimate killing machine, Praetorian Guard, in their purple capes. Just trying to show their superiority. Oh, I am superior than you. Look at them. Charging in with more Praetorians. Rome is relentless. The Roman war machine is relentless. What can you do against such reckless hate? Nothing. Absolutely nothing. Just pray that times will get better. Rome has abandoned their attack on this front at least, and the gap is being pulled by Lusitanian nobles along with the Oathsworn. There's some respite over here. Over here my men are still duking it out. My keyboard is doing something weird. My men are still duking it out. My pikes have 54 kills. They're down to 78 men. That's still okay. I have engaged my mercenary veteran hoplites in the battle. They have how many kills? 41. Okay, they're a holding unit. That's fine by me. I did not take into the factor that the enemy arrow towers, which were formerly our arrow towers, it would be that big of a beast in killing our troops. But it's fine. Our mission is still getting successful. We are getting them to hold this point. We're wasting them on this hill. This small little hill is our defensive Thermopylae. The Athenian Thermopylae. They're facing jabby attacks from the Praetorian Guard. Come on, Rome. Over here, my onager has moved ahead. 145 kills. My second pikeman unit is here holding against Rome. They've just kept them on defensive mode so that Rome doesn't try any sneaky, funny business. My pikemen here, 97 kills. They're exhausted, but they're still gonna hold their ground because it's the Athenian Thermopylae. Look at that. Ooh, such cool unit. I have another unit of mercenary veteran hoplites, 89 kills. They're doing their part. 75 kills for this mercenary veteran hoplite. They all are doing their part. Look at them, holding out like chads. Mind you, they are against heavy killing machines like Praetorian Guards, the armored Shotel warriors, and Royal Thorax swordsmen. They're taking on creme de la creme, and they're still standing their ground. And this is my final unit of picked hoplites. Why are my soldiers firing at the back of my soldiers? I thought, let's exhaust our archers while we still can, firing into that big blob of Royal Thorax swordsmen. Their shields are out. There's something I gotta do. They're landing some shots. Over here, things are getting heated. Lusitani has pulled. Look at that. The battle began here. The number of dead bodies. Lusitani has pulled against the Romans. They were converging on them. My onager. This, if you check this flank, we had secured. Lusitani soldiers had started fighting them, and they had taken back some ground. The fighting began over here. It went till here. So yeah, we were gaining ground. Rome was still grinded to a halt on this hill, like I expected. This little hill was our. This was a Thermopylae. They shall not cross this. And so yeah, they ran out of timer, and we won by default because within the time limit they couldn't get our defenses. We couldn't get our settlement captured. So I forwarded the gameplay by a bit so that you don't get to see the entire 1 hour. There was a lot of time when there was an inactivity. But aside from that, yeah, we won on the time. So the strategy we thought we need to execute, we were able to do that perfectly. So look at that, my onager getting 152 kills, my archers being the beasts they are, 238, 194 kills, Peltas 128. This archer is fresh, so they were starting to fire. They got 104 kills. This pikeman fresh, 9 kills only, and they had blocked an entire pathway so that the Romans couldn't use it. My picked hoplites, look at them, eager chads, 205 kills. My mercenary veteran hoplites did a great job. My Thureo spears, ooh, as good as they could get. My thorax swordsmen couldn't do as much, but to be fair, they were the first line of defense, and they were fighting against really fresh armored legionaries and armored Chotel warriors. So what can I say? That's a good replay. Thank you for watching.